against the Lakers, they gonna make everybody look good. I mean, they're like the Washington Generals. They gonna make every team's the Globetrotters against them. I mean, and we can keep sugarcoating it, and I know they gonna make us talk about the Lakers. The Lakers are a mediocre team.
There have been times when we're at our best, we look really good. And there are other times where it's disgusting.
You know what that sounds like, Ernie?
What?
Sounds like an old man. Like when you wake up in the morning, sometimes I'll be like, ooh, I feel good. Then that next day you'll be like,
that's
sciatica,
disgusting.
sciatica, it's hurting me.
Something felt off the moment Charles Barkley said it. Not a joke, not just TV banter, but one of those lines that hits a little too close to reality. When he compared the Los Angeles Lakers defense to the Washington Generals, it wasn't just trolling. It was a statement. And if you've been watching this team lately, you already know why that line is sticking. Because this isn't just about one bad game anymore. This is about a pattern. This is about a team that looks completely lost when it matters most, and a leader in LeBron James who's starting to get more questions than answers. Have perimeter defense, young at the perimeter. So now there's no resistance for guys to get downhill. And I think that is the biggest thing. You know, yes, they don't have a great shot blocker, but they have shot blockability, but they do not have resistance at the 1, 2, and 3 position. And that is indicative of why they. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Barkley didn't just throw shade for entertainment. He pointed directly at the Lakers' biggest weakness, and that's effort on defense. When he said they look like the Washington Generals, he meant they're out there just to get scored on. No resistance, no structure, no urgency. And the crazy part is this is a team that was supposed to compete at the highest level. This is not a rebuilding squad. This is a team with veterans, stars, and championship expectations. Yet night after night, opponents are walking into the paint like it's an open gym. And then you look at LeBron, because let's be honest, everything comes back to him. He's the face of the franchise, the leader, the system. But what Barkley exposed without even saying it directly is that LeBron's defensive impact just isn't there anymore. You see the slow rotations. You see the moments where he doesn't close out. You see him pointing instead of moving. And at this stage in his career, people are starting to ask, is this decline, or is this just selective effort? There's one thing I'm sure of. This is his last year with the Lakers. He's not going to play with the Lakers next year. I like to. I've always said I'd like to see him finish in Cleveland. This is where it gets dangerous, because once that narrative starts, it doesn't stop. The same media that built LeBron's legacy is now slowly picking it apart. And Barkley, someone who doesn't hold back, just gave everyone permission to say what they've been thinking. Because it's not just about stats anymore. Yes, LeBron can still drop 25. Yes, he can still control stretches of the game, but defense is about consistency. And right now, that consistency is missing. Now, let's talk numbers, because they don't lie. The Lakers have been hovering in the lower tier when it comes to defensive rating against top teams. Opponents are shooting efficiently, especially in transition, and that comes down to effort and communication. And when your best player is not setting that tone, the rest of the team follows. That's how culture works in the NBA. If the leader coasts, the team coasts. LeBron number 1, I think he's earned it right for a farewell tour, but it's clear this is his last year with the Lakers. They're going to move on. Here's the part nobody is talking about. This isn't just on LeBron, but he's the one who gets judged the hardest. Anthony Davis has been inconsistent defensively as well, despite being one of the best defenders in the league when locked in. The perimeter defense has been shaky. Guards are getting blown by too easily, and the rotations are almost non-existent at times. But when Barkley makes that comparison, he's not looking at role players. He's looking at leadership. And this is where young players usually make a mistake. They think offense will save everything. That if you can outscore teams, you don't need to defend at a high level. But that doesn't work in the playoffs. It never has. And that's why Barkley's comment hits harder than a typical hot take, because it's a warning, a reminder that this style of play doesn't win championships. Now, zoom out for a second, because this isn't happening in isolation. Around the league, teams are getting sharper. Nikola Jokic is dominating with efficiency and control. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still playing both ends of the floor with intensity. And then you've got younger stars like Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum stepping up in big moments. The league isn't slowing down for LeBron. If anything, it's moving faster. The West is not up for grabs. Well, they can't grab it. It might be up for grabs, but the Lakers can't grab it. Like I said, I'd love to see him finish his career in Cleveland 'cause I've been on the record. I thought he should have never left Cleveland. But this is his last year with the Lakers. This is where it gets dangerous, because legacy conversations are shifting in real time. For years, LeBron has been in the GOAT debate right there with Michael Jordan. But moments like this, where effort and leadership are questioned, start to weigh heavily, because Jordan was known for intensity on both ends. He set a standard. And now people are comparing that standard to what they're seeing from LeBron today. And Barkley knows exactly what he's doing. He's not just criticizing, he's challenging. He's saying if you want to be considered the greatest, you can't have nights where your team looks like it's just going through the motions. You can't have stretches where defense becomes optional. Because greatness is not just about highlights. It's about habits. Here's the part nobody's talking about. LeBron's body language is becoming part of the conversation. You see it when calls don't go his way. You see it when teammates miss assignments. Instead of rallying the team, there are moments where he disengages. And that matters, because younger players look at that and think it's acceptable. That's how culture slips. At the same time, the Lakers' front office isn't off the hook either. Roster construction has been questionable. There's a lack of consistent two-way players. And in today's NBA, you need versatility. You need guys who can defend multiple positions and still contribute offensively. Right now, the Lakers look unbalanced. And that puts even more pressure on LeBron to carry the load, which might be part of the problem. This is where it gets dangerous, because fatigue starts to show, not just physically, but mentally. LeBron has been in the league for over 2 decades. That's a long time to maintain elite effort every night. But again, that's where the criticism comes in, because when you're in that GOAT conversation, the expectations don't drop. They stay high. And let's not ignore the media reaction. Shows across the board are picking up Barkley's comment and running with it. Analysts are replaying clips of defensive lapses. Social media is full of comparisons and debates. And once that narrative takes hold, it becomes harder to shake. Every bad defensive possession becomes evidence. Every loss becomes confirmation. Here's the part nobody's talking about. The Lakers still have time to fix this. The season is not over. Adjustments can be made. Rotations can tighten. Effort can improve. But the question is, will they? Because change starts at the top. And right now, all eyes are on LeBron. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They wait too long to respond to criticism. They think it will go away on its own. But in the NBA, silence is taken as acceptance. If LeBron wants to shift this narrative, it has to show on the court, not in interviews, not in tweets, but in effort, in defense, in leadership. And as we connect this to the bigger picture, this moment feels like a turning point, not just for the Lakers, but for how LeBron's career is being evaluated in its final chapters. Because legacy is not just built on what you did in your prime, it's shaped by how you finish. Barkley's comment might sound like trolling on the surface, but it carries weight. It reflects what a lot of people are starting to see. And whether you agree or not, it has forced a conversation that can't be ignored anymore. So now the question becomes simple, and it's one that's going to divide fans. Is this just a rough stretch for the Lakers, or is this the reality of where LeBron is at this stage of his career? Because if the defense doesn't improve, if the effort doesn't change, then Barkley's comparison won't just be a joke. It'll be a label. And once that label sticks, it's hard to erase.